Everyone should be allowed to go out there and be president, but not everyone can be president. And this is what very many people have been yearning for. We're talking about 57 individuals that presented their papers to the people of Kenya and above everything to the IEBC to see to it whether they could be cleared to vie for the country's top job. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, not so many of them were lucky to get into this level where they would be looked at or would be considered or would be confidently called candidates. We only have 4 presidential candidates in the country. That is for the August 9th poll. We're talking about Dr. William Ruto, who is under the Kenya Kwanza flag, or better yet, the UDA. We also have the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. We have Professor Wajakoya, that is George. But also we have David Mwaure, and he is here with us this morning as we get to this very important conversation on understanding what is this that he brings to the people of Kenya that would probably get them thinking that, this is the person that we want to be the country's CEO. David Mwaure, presidential candidate, joins us this morning alongside Ruth Musheru, who's the running mate, the very same party, Agano Party. And we just have a chit-chat with them a moment. I call it a chit-chat because, right now is Kipindi Chalala Salama, 55 days to the general election. And the questions that we're asking today is, are they the right choice for the people of Kenya? They are being looked at as the tools of change. We get to understand whether indeed they bring this change. And before you decide to go out there and cast that vote, you need to understand what it is that they bring on the table. It's an honor to have you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for creating time.
Good morning.
Good morning, karibu sana. A little bit late, but we really are going to touch on 2-3 things that will be instrumental, especially for the Kenyans to make this decision. We're still waiting for the manifesto, sir.
Yes, it should be out any minute. Also there are a few others, even those who are ahead of us. They have been in government for 30 years.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the one of Kenya Kwanza, and the other one is being tempered. So is ours. In the next 14 days, it should be there. What we should tell viewers, it will be revolutionary, it will be different, it will be what they have looking for. 59 years, sisi tunakuja kubadilisha. We are the badilisha team. The others are talking about change, but they cannot change. They don't have the wherewithal.
Right.
They've been there and they haven't done it. So we are tempering the first points. We don't want any opinion, any view left out.
Right.
You will be having it, and we will want to be TV47 to be among the first, where we will come to discuss it.
Right, we're looking forward to that. But you also need to know that time is moving very fast.
I know.
54 days is no joke. Before you know it, the campaign lines are closed and Kenyans are making decisions.
We hear you. We hear you.
Would it not be necessary to have these documents out pretty much early? Ruth, for purposes of making sure that people are able to, eat into it and understand it proper?
Yes, thank you very much. There's a need for us to have it out early enough, but we want to have the items that are at heart for the Kenyans. And that is why His Excellency, the 5th, is mentioning that we are coming in as the Badilisha team.
Right.
We are coming to change. We do not want to have the same script. No, for us, we want to have the Kenyans at heart. And that is why we want to ensure that whatever we're going to remove as the manifesto will only come to satisfy and give the Kenyan the change that they need for tomorrow.
We have these standard problems that bedevil the people of Kenya. And we know that we would talk about poverty. Just today I was going through the papers, and yes, the fuel prices are shooting up. Just the other day we were talking about starvation in different parts of the country because, occasioned by the fact that we do not have the rains and all that. Corruption is one thing that we're dealing with. The economic challenges are the very same ones that we're dealing with. I mean, how different then can the script be from what it is that these other people are presenting if we have the very same problems, unless you're telling us you're going to address different problems?
Thank you very much, and once again to the T47 viewers, we are grateful to be here. We're saying, if you look at the 4 of us, we represent a very complementary brand. That's why our tag word and name is Badilisha, which is change in English. Yeah. We are coming to change. And change, even if, for us, there is no limit. Some people will have to go home. Some people new people will have to come in. For us, the next thing is corruption is very key in us handling it.
Yeah.
We are saying corruption underlies, and we'll tell you how we are going to handle it and what we are going to do. Number 3, concerning the issue of unemployment, poverty, and all that, there's something revolutionary we want to do. You know, Abraham Lincoln said, democracy is defined as a rule of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Right.
Now, those are like 3 pillars: of, for, and by. We want to take government to the people at nyumba kumi, at mtaa. And how shall we do that? The first thing to deal with unemployment and poverty for us, leave alone even the proposal that was in BBI of 35%. For us, the minimum we want to go to the counties is 40% minimum. And what we want to do, why do we want to do that? Apart from doing that, we have realized that the unit at the grassroots, the nyumba kumi, mtaa, mahali unaishi, if people can sit there and decide, not the MCA deciding for them, not the ward rep, not the county assembly, not the mbunge, anakuja na Land Rover or whatever, the CDF. The people out there decide, this is what we can do that can change us. The youth sit with them who are unemployed. The single mothers sit with them. We want the government in our going on forward to be the deciding, the people, the deciding factor of development. Now, note the difference. Already we have given the money.
Okay.
So kwetu, tabu sio pesa mashinani, pesa tunapea, na hiyo ni minimum.
Hiyo pesa itatoka wapi? As it stands, you are inheriting this from a government that is not even able to sustain its own budget. Revenue collection versus the budget that you have, the prospects that we have on board, really totally worlds apart. By half, the government cannot be able to sustain the budget as it stands today. Where will the money come from after this break?
Thank you.
All right. they bring to the people of Kenya. I would not want us to focus much on the manifesto because we are looking forward to get it, or better yet, the promises, even though it's very, very important for Kenyans to start understanding what is being presented to them. Senior Counsel, second stab at it. The very first time you shelved the interest. This time around, you have decided that you will go with it all the way to so much that bedevils the people of Kenya. But one thing that is for sure is on the aspect of the legal spectrum. You are a legal mind. We have so much so in terms of the laws, but these laws we've not been able to implement. As you as well tell us what it is that you present to us, and I think in terms of, the monies that are available, I told you that we can barely sustain the budget as it stands. Why would you assume that you'd be able to get these monies and manage the budget moving forward? And, just looking at the legal aspects of this, how do we able to get a balance and make sure that there's implementation of the laws of the land, but most importantly, that we have enough finances to manage ourselves?
Linda and viewers, we have laws. Laws are not what are lacking. They can be improved because there's no perfect law. We have realized, Ruth and I, my running mate and I, that we have money as well in this country. We'll surprise you viewers. Kenyans are hardworking. Kenyans are a determined lot. They never give up. We have realized, apart from the 2 billion that the president said we lose per day, you asked the question, Ali, where do we get the money from? We have realized, even by simply closing that hole, you'd be surprised. 60 billion per month, 720 billion per year. You count in 5 years, it's going into trillions. Look at that money. And that was within just the government sector. And then we've gone on to find there are other modes and levels of corruption. Actually, the president was just talking about what he knows. He doesn't know he's been advised. He doesn't know about the individual corruptions. He doesn't know about the wastage. And yesterday, the Auditor General talks about 500 billion of wastage.
That cannot be accounted for.
What we want to be the government, apart from the government that will bring corruption to an end, but the government that will fight impunity and have the law followed. Actually, why are we saying tunakuja kubadilisha? Sisi ndio badilisha dream team. It's because there are people who will have to go home. They're in government, they're in civil service, they're in the private sector. They are in judiciary as well.
Can we take this example,
yes,
Mr. And Farida Karunei, this is just one of the dockets of the government. Gets into the land ministry, and she's thinking of how to make an overhaul, make adjustments that are necessary. Actually, forgive some of these individuals, and we all understand the level of cartelism that lies in the land ministry. She's on record acknowledging that she really thought it would have been easy to forgive them. But you realize that these individuals that appear to be rogue are the very same ones that are at the heart of the engine. They are the drivers of the very same engine. And therefore, she says that you could really want to forgive them, but on second thought, they run this engine. And therefore, forgiving them would literally mean you're not able to run this engine. How can you?
I hear you, Linda, but we are coming from a perspective where we are saying 59 years after independence, this nation must be go forward. Ruth and I, my running mate, that's why I took a lady, a young mother, a determined. We are saying, past the 9th of August, unless we move forward to Badilisha, we can't go anywhere. So we are determined. There's something has lacked in the past, and this does not have to do with the Ministry of Lands. CS Farida has tried very much. We have found a lack at different levels and a failure of goodwill to fight corruption. In 2002, when Moi went, Moi must go, and Kibaki must came in, Kenyans saw to it that corruption was being handled by citizens' arrest. Kenyans are not corrupt per se. It's not that we cannot be like Botswana, Singapore, and the other countries of Finland, where corruption is below 1-0. But let me tell you, our problems underlie corruption, impunity, the fact that the government is still at the top. That's why we are saying our government will be by the people. Something keen, but quite more improved, like the Makueni, you remember the Makuen principle or format, but more improved. And this is why we haven't brought our manifesto. We are tweaking it in there. It's goodwill. Then we are saying, Ruth and I, we are clean. We've not been named or involved or presided over ministries, government in the past, or regimes where scandals have been done, even in this last regime, unfortunately. So we are saying for us, we have the opportunity. And sometimes, Linda, you know, to come here, we had to change the clothes we had yesterday. If you saw us yesterday and you saw us in the same clothes, you could have seen the same old ideas.
Okay.
We return those who've been there, or our competitors. They cannot clean, they cannot change. There comes a time in life when you need new. I've watched you, I like the way you dress, and look, you look different today. It's not the way you looked yesterday.
That's true.
That's
All
right.
right, thank you. Ruth, why you, as you also weigh in on that, why you, what was the mechanism? I know you have mentioned this before, but for purposes of those ones that are watching TV7 this morning, that want to know, at what point did Agano Party then decide that we are arriving at Ruth to be the running mate of the party, and what is this that, you know, as a running mate you're presenting on the table?
Okay. For me, Ruth was and is tired. So I was not accepting the fact that I'm going to accept the same regime, the same old faces, coming in with very colorful manifestation to run another year in government. So I gave myself up to stand for that lady, to stand for the Kenyans, and in the gap of the youth, to change the dynamics of government. We are tired of this corruption. I am losing assent every day. Fuel has gone up. That means power goes up, food production goes up. So that means even in the next 55 days, our economy is going to be stretched. So what are Kenyans ready for? Are they ready for the change that we are coming to bring in? Badilisha team, we will continually repeat Badilisha, Badilisha, and Badilisha. That is our slogan.
Someone is going to tell you, Ruth, that even these ones that are oldies in the game were new at some point in time, and they came in new, and here we are, we're complaining about them. So what is this that, you know, you will tell the people of Kenya that will guarantee them that you're coming new and you will stay new and true to your word?
I don't know how new is new, because you know even secondhand is new.
Okay, well.
But for us, new, we are really new. And you know, for us to have come this far, we have been vetted. No one has seen these court cases gone, they're involved, they do not have documentation. We are clean, we are new, we are a new broom coming to sweep off. And that is why the fifth is, or the captain is saying that we are coming with a government by the people. Right. We are giving the people the chance to sit down, let us agree, let us discuss. What are the modalities of cleaning up? We are not sitting behind doors, just the two of us or a few people. We will sit in and make a team discussion and a team agreement. Let us remove these people. It is gradual. And you know, by the time we're cleaning up, we're saving a minimum of 2 billion per day.
Okay.
Yes.
This could be disturbing, you know, Senior, because we would say that we have grown beyond these talks of tribe. But reality is that we are an ethno-majoritarian society as it stands today. Tribe is a factor, regional politics is a factor. Does it not disturb you that your ticket would appear to appeal more to a certain region? What happens to the rest of the nation? How do you speak to them and woo their hearts to understand that it goes beyond tribe, it goes beyond region, it is about the people of Kenya?
Linda, I belong to a tribe, and I'm proud because as I was created, I was born. I can do nothing about it. Viewer, your tribe was God-given. Your language is God-given, and our languages are rich. But I hate tribalism. I am against negative ethnicity. Kenyans, I went to school with people from the Luo, the Kalenjin. I grew up in the Rift Valley. And even up to now, they are my friends. We didn't see ourselves as tribes. Kenyans, it is the leaders who've been there. It is the old order which we are saying, we're Kenya. To badilisha, to bring a new order. I am representing myself as a Kenyan. People have asked me, and I hope I'm not preempting you, what's your constituency of your party? I'm saying my constituency is Kenya. My party and the party we run and we are running on has been around for the last 16 years. It's one of the 7 or thereabouts oldest. And it's because it's been serving all Kenyans. We get, in the old days of councillors, we got from Ijara, Moyale, you know, Madera, you can't imagine. So for us, it is not the tribe. We have had people who are not, President Moi was not, for instance, from the tribe I am. But there was corruption, there were scandals. And Kenyans what are saying, it doesn't matter who. I'll tell you what today. If we had somebody from the Mwaure tribe, the smallest, and they were president today and they put food on the table, money in the pocket, they ensured there was universal health care, they ensured the youth have opportunities, there is a credit, and those are the things that we want to bring. Okay. We want to bring, and this is a manifesto, usawa, ukweli, we want to bring uaminifu, we want to bring umoja, unity, the principles in the national anthem. The brother from Mwaure or Turkana can rule for the next Kenya. Watafika mahali waseme aendelee, except our constitution puts it up to 10. Kenyans are looking for leaders who will move them from this mountain we've been going around. And you know, my sister, if I can end on that point, said prices went up. Look at this. It's just getting crazy. Yeah. But you know what? The hemorrhage, the steering of the 2 billion has not stopped. And then the final one, our money is still getting stashed abroad. By 2020, it was 6 trillion. Even if the 3 trillion turned back, look at the difference it would do in repaying the debt. Yeah. That's where my sister and I are coming. We are bringing resolve, we are bringing determination, we are bringing newness. Even the Bible says, I make all things new. And the only thing that's permanent is change. We need to change.
Maybe I would wish to add where ethnicity is concerned. I think Kenyans have grown away from tribalism. We are growing away from it. And you know...
If it is so, why do we speak of or the excitement about exciting the mountain on this very season of politics? That one we cannot overlook. Yes. That it's the mountain that has the numbers, and that's a fact that is on ground. Yes. And therefore, you know, how can we confidently say that we have outgrown these talks of ethnicity, these talks of tribe, these talks of, you know, party affiliation and so much more? Agano Party has been here long enough, to be honest, you know, conformed in all the party mechanisms that would be proper to make sure that a party is good enough to run a nation, to run a certain entity. Why is it then that we still are having affiliation to those old faces that we've heard?
I think the culture needs to be broken. And, you know, talking about ethnicity, we might not be able to change it. But again, we need to gradually walk away from it, because why would I need to pick up someone from Central who is a non-performer, who is stealing away the 2 billion shillings per day? Yeah. Why do we need them in office? Then the Kenyans just need to make a decision of getting rid of these people who are pulling us back. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are from. You're from Central, you need to go back home. Pack and go back home. And most of them actually know they probably need to go home. Yeah. So Kenyans, let us change this perspective. Don't vote for me because I'm Kikuyu, or I'm Kamba, or I'm Kalenjin. Let's get rid of it. Why
do you suppose Kenyans are taking so long to get themselves off this culture? Because by the time that you're taking up the challenge to run as, you know, running mate, pretty much a huge challenge, a huge task. It's like you're taking the whole country onto your hands because of the aspect of having been tired of the crop of leadership that we had. What makes Kenyans not get to that point where we say enough is enough?
I think we need to change. We need to change and move towards just the change that is required in this country. People need to accept that you going with the tribal will damage us, and some of them are holding on to them because some of them are being bought. We also need to refuse the small handouts that are being used to purchase us. We just need to get away from that. Kenyans, let us not get bought. We are getting bought with 200 shillings, 300 shillings, so that I cast my vote in the Rift Valley. We don't need that. We need to change all this. And that is why, if we put in the same people who have been in corruption, it is not going to stop. It's going to we're going to have a gradual increase in corruption for the next 5 years. Yeah. So if we're losing 2 billion per day, that means from the 9th, it could go to 3. Right. So what are Kenyans doing about that? Let us make the decision that we are not going to use the tribal lines.
All right. Yes. Senior, the conversation on ground is very, very important. And the fact that you're only 4 in this race it makes it even more exciting and interesting, yeah? And for a person to win, sometimes it's proper to look onto the other side and see what it is that your competitor is doing. We have seen what Right Honorable Raila Odinga has been doing. We have seen what Deputy President William Ruto has been doing. Many have accused them for having started the campaigns way earlier than the stipulated time. We are seeing Waihiga coming in speed. And the things that are exciting the Kenyans, you know, at some point in time, have questioned, others have appreciated in equal measures. And opinion polls and probably conversations with a few people that I have heard, you know, the conversations I've had with them on ground. There's a general feel that it's going to be a two-horse race. It is Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Deputy President William Ruto. Look at the papers this morning. It is about them. It clearly indicates that they are the front runners. And then there's a general feel that Waihiga is going to distract the vote, that he's coming in lightning speed or with lightning speed based on what it is that he presents to the people. And that then would position you as four. Do you agree to some of these polls that speak of that? Do you agree to some of these people that say so? And what does it make you feel as a contender who seeks to be number one?
Linda, I don't agree. Ruth and I do not agree. And people who are subscribing to that, that approach are making a big mistake. You know what? The biblical David did not come at the beginning. Alikujia huku mwisho mwisho. Na mimi najua Wakenya wote wanasoma vitabu.
Right.
You know? Wanasoma Biblia, even brothers and Muslims, they read the Old Testament, and people read religious books. He did not come at the beginning. And it's Toshe. You know, we just started last weekend, but one. That's when the campaigns became official. We have also not gone into debates. You know, the debates will come, and finally Kenyans have not voted. The point is, we are the only team, Team Badilisha, Sisi, who are addressing the problems of Kenyans. Like, for instance, the issue you are raising with my sister, if you could give my 2 pieces, with your permission and my sister's.
Sure.
Yeah, the issue of negative ethnicity and tribalism belongs to the old order. We are the new order. This election is about coming from the old to the new. There are things, 2 days ago, when I unveiled her, we trended number 5. So I don't know where Infotrack is looking at, but you know, it takes people to take a bold move. We are those people. It takes people. Look, the undecided are 4 million, and I'm not surprised they'll be going up. We are preparing. I came before my sister, and when she got here, I said to her, well, she caught up very quickly. We were talking on the phone. Nikamuuliza, bona umepata helicopter? Akaniambia, unajua hiyo, the 5th, ingali kwa hanga. They are using money to campaigns, taxes, I believe part of it. You could ask me what are your facts.
Right.
But the amount of security and things I'm doing, I'm sure they are. The Deputy President is still in government with respect to his position, you know. So that's our money. They started campaigning way before and distracting Kenyans. And Kenyans know what they want to do. We have faith and belief. When Kenyans get into the box, they look the four of us, and people will get a surprise. We are also presenting different things from what the professor is saying. So we are different. We are new. If you take a new broom, a determined, a daring, we are those people.
Ruth, have you visualized on what it would be like if you find yourself into power and that you are, yes, officially the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya? The responsibility that comes with that, in as much as the Constitution does not articulate hugely of what is expected of the Deputy President, looking at the previous experiences and what President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, the very first, lot that brings in the deputy ticket, how they have operated and all that. Have you visualized on that, and how different would you play as a deputy in the event that you're successful on this?
Yes, I have visualized, and for me, I'm coming in to actualize the desires of the Kenyans. I'm coming in to make the changes that the Kenyans have been desiring to see. For me, the 2/3 gender rule, we have started here, the Excellency has actually started by putting me in office. So already that shows that he has the interest of women in heart. And we want to have this put in for even the executive team. So for me, I'm coming in to change the woman perspective, the woman responsibility, also to put in the youth to be heard. They need a voice to be heard. We need to have the disability being able to be heard. Every mother, me being a mother, there's no mother that throws away even the child who has some deformity. I will have the opportunity to fight for them, to let them get heard, to let them even get a sitting, not just being reported. I am in it to make the decisions. I am up to the task to make the changes that Kenyans want to see. Yes.
All right. And how much do you appeal to the people on ground today? Party that has been here long enough. You know, we understand what the laws dictate when it's about formation of parties. And by the time they are cleared by the registrar of political parties to a level where you're cleared as, you know, a president who's vying under the same party, it clearly means that you have met all the thresholds. But when it comes to appealing to the people on ground, the national appeal that is required, to be honest, statistically speaking, without looking at the polls and all that, I would run to understand whether there are other people who are running under the Agano party across the country, and especially on the aspect of parliament, because it's at this level that laws then are made. Will it not be a little bit difficult for you to perform as a president and as deputy president, as a presidency, as a government, in the event that you do not have enough representation in parliament? What have you done towards making sure that at the level of parliament, there will be that representation that will be good enough to help you see some of the bills and the changes that you want implemented and sail through?
Thank you for your question. It's important. First of all, it's good to let Kenyans know parties are formed for various reasons, but Agano was formed to change this nation. Even the name was chosen with purpose, Agano, because when you vote for me, we are getting into an agreement,
okay,
into a covenant that I'll stand for you. I'm not going there to amass, to take your horses, your shambas, to amass, to get, to just waste the time.
Yeah.
Running a party also, allow me to add that, it's not easy. Those people who have been gone ahead of us, they have made it so difficult so that you, Mwananchi, only very few can. But a journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 mile. And also, you need to give somebody the long term. For us, when we formed Agano, it was not like to make money during nominations, quick kill or briefcase, sell it to somebody else. It's gradually building up the power base. And if you want to know it's there, it is this power base, the network that we have nationally over the last 16 years that enabled me to be among the four. Yes, we used a little money, and it's money from our pockets. But right now, even so far by our campaigns, we are ranging in probably the usage of between 5 and about 7 M so far, while our competitors, particularly the two being called big horses, I will not be surprised, leave alone the so-called minimum 5 billion. They are ranging between 50 billion and 100 billion. I am sure, particularly depending on whether you started campaigning the other day or you went into the future. Kenyans are coming to learn about party politics. And I know they have been looking at Agano. They'll join it. Yes, we have got elected, we have got people who came in. The majority we have are MCAs. But look, the leadership that my running mate and I will bring, we are bringing a radical leadership. We want to be the government that will kill corruption. Let me tell you, we are poor, we have famine, food insecurity, we lack national health care because this very wealthy country, its money is hemorrhaged and wasted through corruption and scandals, and then part of it is part of the 6 trillion which is stashed abroad, and we want to do everything to bring that money to Kenya. For us, without doing so many things people are proposing, we can see ourselves in a year or two repaying the 8.2, or two bringing gradually free education. In a year or two, we talked about increasing minimum, not even 35. And I know those who have not given their manifestos, now they are going to take our idea. I know they will talk about 60, but it's not realistic at this stage. You know, we don't want to tell people, my youth tutawapea billion moja. You have not even addressed about how you will pay the debt. We know we have a debt. Okay. Not only that, you are not, our competitors are not talking about the scandals. Up to now, we don't know wale jamaa who came some money running around. And we understand the money is around, by the way. And part of it is a 6 trillion. We want to be the government that will bring it back. We are saying if we can guard that our wealth, our hard work. Leader, you woke up very early. Mama mboga ambaye anasikiza aliamuka asubuhi sana. Right. Analipa kodi. Hata kama sio ile pei, analipa kutoka kwa VAT. We want to guard Kenyans' hard work. We want to see results.
Is that to say that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been hypocritical in this talk of addressing the question of corruption?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a short break and then we come back and pack some of these that have been asked right here and just look at some of the nitty-gritty details that are right with us, like for instance COVID-19. How do we get ourselves off this hook moving forward after this short break? Difficulties that they speak of in terms of the campaigns and the monies that they have had to channel out to make sure that they are at the level they are. Reality is that we all acknowledge it's not been easy affair. And therefore, Ruth, as we loop you in, yes. I know we would love to hear so much about what your manifesto will be speaking of, but I'm glad that there'll be time for that. But then again, the most recent thing and the troubles that we're having right here as a country and as a global fraternity is on the question of COVID-19. And I doubt there's any country that has conducted an election and has spoken to, you know, the individuals that are presenting their interest to run the nation and failed to touch on the question of COVID-19. We have rates going up as of yesterday. The reports from the Ministry of Health dictate that June, July, the numbers will be shooting up. And then we're going to August, and then we'll be going to, you know, generally getting to know who is going to take up the challenge as the president. So if we're talking about the shackles of COVID-19, pretty much, you know, unpredictable, or so to speak, pretty much of a vicious virus. Anything in your manifesto that is set to make sure that we mitigate the ramifications that come along with COVID-19 some more?
Yes, for us, we are planning to send out funds in the county. Okay, what we will want to have is funds sent out to the counties in the very much exterior areas and ensure that the health sector is looked into, because probably there are even people who are unable to get the injections. the prevention injections that everyone else wants to have. So I think we'd need to have the medication and the injections go out to the areas of the arid areas, so that we protect ourselves, so that even at the point of trying to grow the economy and getting back on our feet, we'll have protected ourselves, and to also ask the Kenyans to take care of themselves. We cannot emphasize enough. People need to take care of themselves. The hygiene, the hygiene and the masks, and you know, the better part of all this is that we can even produce the masks locally, so the prices will go down for the masks. We don't have to import them anymore. You know, me and you can tell that we cannot distinguish an imported and an exported mask. So we will promote the production of the masks locally, just in case, and for also the protection. And the mask shall help me and you, and also shall help the youth who's going to get the job because of industrialization. Yes.
All right. Some more I'd love to understand in terms of cushioning the economy, because it's at its knees because of COVID-19. In the event that this continues to persist, then it will even be worse. How do you mitigate and counter that? Still to you, Ruth.
For that, I'll promote the injection. People need to get the vaccine. That is going to help us a lot. It's going to equalize. It's going to equalize all this, and we will be able to work together. Yes.
All right. Okay. Senior Counsel, you say that evidently President Uhuru Kenyatta has not done us justice in terms of handling these questions of corruption and so much more. This is the very same individual that you will probably be expected to go to as the only surviving president that we have as it stands today for advice and, you know, just get to understand how are these things done and all that. But at the same time, if we're to talk on the question of corruption, accountability, then the very same name will appear in terms of the fact that you've been in office and during your term or during your term, things did not augur well. How will you create this balance?
Let me put that one in a bigger perspective. In matters fighting corruption, all the past regimes have failed, my sister. They have lacked resolve. So this is not just about President Kenyatta, and he was not alone. One of my competitors, his deputy, is also in that place, and he's not talking much about the nitty-gritty. And when you have occasion to interview him, let him tell us about the nitty-gritty and talk about the scandals he has been mentioned in and where that money is. Let him also tell us, because he's part of the he's saying, nyinyi ndiye mlichukua pesa ya Kemsa millionaire. Bona hambiwa Kenya ni pesa ngapi? I'm just saying, you know, because we are saying we will have resolve. We are saying there will be no sacred cows. If it's me, actually my running mate and I have said, tume agana, kama ni mimi, yeye ashikue wa kwanza kushout. My president is involved in his scandal. Okay. And I'm saying, without, you know, she is protected by the Constitution and calls me out. If it's me, I'll call her out and tell Kenyans and ask the various agencies to take care of that. We intend to be radical, like it happened in Singapore. Lee Wan-Hu, people who they had fought the colonialists with. He's very close-minders. He's very close-minders. They are the ones who got into, they're the very close people who got into the, who he got rid of, you know, he got rid of. So that's what we intend to do. In matters economy, we've talked about when we stop the hemorrhaging, because the president has also more or less like said, you know, these guys, they are just, you know, I know he is agreeable, we need a new broom. Yeah. I know he will support our cause. It's not an accusation on an individual. No. It's an accusation on the whole lot of them. Even those who've been there before us, there were scandals and we have never resolved them. But we are saying we have not been involved. We don't intend to. We are coming because, like the other Kenyans, we are angry. So if the 2 billion is not hemorrhaged, pilfered, if you take 40% of the national cake to the grassroots, if you go industrialization, which we intend to do, if you restore the cottage industry, if we become an exporting country, if we make Kenya investment climate better. We are looking at taxation. Actually, today we are going to meet in the afternoon, and we'll be handling a taxation aspect this afternoon.
Yeah.
Excuse me. A taxation aspect with a committee is the fine one that's remaining in our whatever. How can we make it suitable? Kenyans are taxed very high.
All right.
My sister will be there.
We're
We'll
looking
be
forward
there.
to see that.
We'll
So
be there.
all the best. Come to a close.
Yes.
I know when you are on a race, you don't want to talk negative. You don't want to look at the other side.
Yes.
But sometimes you're advised it's fair that you write a conceding speech as well as a winning speech.
Absolutely.
In the event that you have to read a conceding speech and therefore that you have lost this, what will be the most disappointing thing about it, Ruth, as we come to a close?
As a winning or as...
Say you have lost this one. What will be the
Yes.
most disappointing thing about it that you feel the Kenyans will have missed out anyway? Because we've talked about the positives of a possible Agano government.
I would only be sad that the Kenyans have made a repeat of a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, they have opted to use the old broom as opposed to the new broom. So we should only be ready to face the consequences.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, Senior Counsel, what would be the most disappointing thing if you were to lose this? And probably, perhaps, if you were to win, what would be this one thing that would be the driving factor that you look at the people of Kenya and say, you know what, this is a win for us all?
We are not expecting to lose.
Yeah.
But it's only a fool who thinks life is like going down slope on a bicycle. But we have confidence Kenyans who vote us. But in case if something happens, we get, for instance, rigged out. For rigging, we'll go to the Supreme Court. Rigging will go to the Supreme Court. If it would be a fair for something, we don't know what it would be. We can't visualize. Because what we are bringing, Kenyans will vote for it. If it happens otherwise, if it's not rigging, we'll respect Kenyans' vote, decision, but we will not stop. We will put the next government into strict proof, we'll follow through, and we will thank Kenyans because it is the same Kenyans who supported us. The 48,000 was a mini election.
Right.
And it didn't just come from our members. It came from Kenyans. They spoke to people in their area. We will respect, and even going forward as we think about elections, we won't call for peace.
Right.
We want to ask Kenyans not to abuse each other. We want to call on our competitors. Let's not talk about individuals. Let's talk about what we'll do. But also let's talk about how we shall handle the past. Where it is known there is money that is hidden somewhere or any of our competitors was involved in the scandal, let them, like the Sakias of the Bible, come and say, Mungu mimi wa Kenya mimi niliimba, narudisha mara mbili ama mara tatu, sasa nimeona nuru, mnisamehe.
Well put. You know, there's so much that I'd have loved to ask you, including whether then it will be a first win or a first round win or a possible already. It should be a first win.
For us, yes.
All right,
for
first
us.
win. Okay,
For
thank
us.
you so much. Senior Counsel David Mwaure Waihiga, asante sana for creating time to be with us.